in a lecture series on the present chapter, that is Principles of Inheritance and Variation. We had discussed in lecture number 8 on linkage and recombination. Now to continue with the same chapter, today we will move on to lecture 9, sex determination. Now what is sex determination? What does this topic tell us about? In this topic, we will be learning that how for a particular species or particular group of organisms, the sex, that is whether an individual will develop to become a female or to become a male during the process of reproduction. What determines that? On what basis that the sex or gender of an individual is dependent? So these are the things that we will study. Now before going into the topics, for us it is very important to remember the fact that all organisms, diploid organisms to be more specific, they are made up of a definite number of chromosomes which depends upon the species. Now among that number of chromosomes, usually two, that is a pair, is referred to as the sex chromosomes, whereas the rest of the chromosomes will be referred to as autosomes, which are mainly responsible for giving the characteristics of that particular individual or organisms, the group of organisms, the common characteristics, the common features which will be present in that particular group of organisms. The sex chromosomes also will definitely carry genes to give characteristics to that particular group of organisms, but besides that, they have some specific genes which will determine the sex, that is whether it will be female or it will be the male, that is whether it will be producing the eggs or it will be producing the sperms. So under this topic today we will as per the syllabus or curriculum, we will discuss some types of sex determination. Now the sex determination mechanism, okay, broadly it can be categorized into 3 types: male heterogamety, haploid diploid type, and female heterogamety. Now male heterogamety, so from this term it becomes quite clear that it has something to do with male individuals. Hetero means different, gamety obviously related to gametes. Now in this type of mechanism, the male individuals, they produce 2 different types of gametes, and they are the ones who are responsible during the process of reproduction. They are responsible for determining the sex of the future offspring. Whether the offspring will be a male or a female, it will depend upon the type of gamete that the male parent is providing, or the type of gamete from the male who is fusing with the female gamete. So the males are responsible for determining the sex of the future offspring. Under this category, again we have 2 types to study as per our curriculum, that is XXXY type, which is very commonly or which is seen in humans or mammals. Then XXXO type, which is seen in insects, with some exceptions of course, but they are seen in insects. Then the female heterogamety, just the opposite of male heterogamety. In female heterogamety type of mechanism, the females are responsible for determining the sex of the future individual, future offspring during the process of reproduction. That means the females produce two different types of gametes, hetero gametes, two different types of gametes, and the males of these group of organisms will produce the same type of gametes. So the female, whatever gamete from the female is uniting with the male gametes will determine the sex of the future individual. Now under this we have to study two types, XXXY type and XXXO types. XXXY type is seen in birds and the other one is seen in cockroaches. Now the third type of sex determination mechanism is referred to as haploid diploid type, which is seen in or which can be observed in honeybees, wasps and ants. So now we have to learn about all these three categories with the subtypes in details. So let us proceed with our lesson. Now again the same thing here, different types of sex determination. Okay, XXXY type in humans. In humans, as I already mentioned in the beginning of this class or this lesson, that a group or majority of the chromosomes of an organism are referred to as autosomes. A pair is referred to as sex chromosomes. In humans, we have total 46 chromosomes, out of which 44 are autosomes and a pair is sex chromosome. In females, XX, and in males, XY. Males, as already mentioned, they are heterogametes. In birds, like say hens or cocks, okay, so we see they are made up of 78 chromosomes in total, out of which 76 are autosomes with a pair of sex chromosomes ZW. In hens and in cocks, it is ZZ. Likewise, in Drosophila, they have 8 number of chromosomes in total. Insects, this is Drosophila that they have shown here. They have total 8 number of chromosomes, which and a pair. The total number of chromosomes is 8 with 6 autosomes and a pair is sex chromosome. In females, XX, in males, XX, XY or XO. We will go into the details. Then in grasshoppers, it is seen the total is 24 number of chromosomes, out of which 22 are autosomes with a pair of sex chromosomes, XX, and in males it is only one X. Now the details. First we go to male heterogameity. Now in male heterogameity, the first subtype that we have to learn is XXXY type. It is seen in mammals, including humans, and also some insects like Drosophila or fruit fly. This is that organism which Morgan had used to study linkage. Now, under this category, these type of organisms, the mammals, we humans are included, Drosophila like insects. Here the male members, they are heterogamous. That means they have the sex chromosomes. Besides the autosomes, the sex chromosomes are of two different types, that pair, that which should be the homologous pair, but in reality that they are not the same. They have one X chromosome and an Y chromosome. Now these are terms that has been given for making the studies easy. So they have a pair of different chromosomes. The pair, each of them will be different from the other. So they have been named as one is X and the other is Y chromosome. Along with the autosomes, fine. And the females of these same group of organisms, they have the same type of sex chromosomes, X, which is named. Now this X and this X, they have the same types. Of course, genetically it will differ, but still then they are the same types. They will have different alleles, of course, but they are the same types. That is to say, in these organisms, two types of sex chromosomes are found, X and Y. Males will have one X, one Y. Females will have the same homologous pair, X chromosomes. Now, during reproduction, as we all know, reproduction it can be sexual reproduction. It can be categorized into three: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. During pre-fertilization, there is gametogenesis, that is formation of the gametes. So in these type of organisms, the males, these are the males, autosomes, and XY, females, autosomes plus XX. So during gamete formation, what will happen? The autosomes will divide. They will undergo meiosis. Of course, together they will undergo meiosis. The cells, the germ cells, they will undergo meiosis, and then the new daughter cells, the gametes, will be having half the number of total chromosomes. So autosomes, 50% enters into one type of gametes, and 50% of the sex chromosome enters into that type of gametes. Other type of gametes, the rest 50% of the autosomes and the remaining sex chromosome. That is to say, the total 46, if this is a human, total 46 chromosomes, they will split into 23 and 23 during gametogenesis. Out of the 23, 22 will be autosomes and one sex chromosome. In the other type of gamete, the rest 22 autosomes and the remaining sex chromosome. Now, these are the gametes, that is the sperms in case of males, and likewise in the females also, during gametogenesis, similar process will take place, resulting into the gametes which will be carrying half the number of chromosomes. But as the sex chromosomes are the same, so consequently all the gametes formed will be of the same type. 50% autosomes, 50% of sex chromosome, fine, but as the sex chromosomes are same, so all the gametes will be similar. So this condition can be called as homogamety, and in males it can be called as heterogamety. Now, the next event of reproduction, fertilization. During fertilization, the gametes unite together, fuse together. Now, fusion of gametes, it is random. Randomly it takes place, so it may be between a sperm carrying X chromosome and the egg, or between a sperm carrying Y chromosome and the egg. So, in both the cases, we can see here the result. If one carrying X chromosome unites with the egg, it will form the combination, it will restore the combination of XX, which will obviously be a female individual. And if the sperm carrying Y unites with the egg, then it will definitely develop into the male individual. So this is the type of XXXY type of sex determination. Now coming to the other type of male heterogamety, XXXO type. This is seen in insects like grasshopper. Here the males have only one X chromosome. Unlike the type in mammals where we see two types of sex chromosomes, but here only one, the males carry only one sex chromosome. So here in such cases, in organisms like grasshopper, it is seen that both the males and females, they have unequal number of chromosomes. The females, they will have 24 chromosomes and the males will have 23 chromosomes. So they have one deficit chromosome, one less chromosome than the females. Females have XX chromosome. So females have 22 autosomes and one pair of X chromosome. Males have 22 autosomes but one single X chromosome. So during gamete formation, what will happen? During gamete formation, males will produce two types of sperms. One type of sperm will carry the X chromosome which is present. The other type will be devoid of the X chromosome or devoid of sex chromosome. They will be carrying only the autosomes. Females will produce the same type of ova, and so the future individual will determine, the sex of the future organism will be determined by which type of sperm is uniting with the ova. If the one without sex chromosome unites with the ova, then it will develop into a male individual, as we can see here. Now we come to female heterogamety. In female heterogamety, the type is XXXY type. Once we have learned with male heterogamety, this is quite this should be quite easy to get the concept. Here it is seen in birds, fowls and fishes. Here in this case, just the reverse of male heterogamety, females have two different types of sex chromosome, one Z and one W, whereas males have pair of Z. So now during gamete formation, males will produce the same type of gametes, homogamous. Females will produce two different types of gametes. So determining the sex of the future individual will be done by the females. That is, which type of egg unites with the sperms. If egg carrying Z unites with the sperm, it will develop into male. If the W carrying egg unites with the sperm, then it will develop into a female. So this is called as female heterogamety. Another type, XXXY type, which is seen in cockroaches. In this case also, like the previous one, XXXY type, here females have only one Z chromosome. So females will have one less chromosome than the males. So females will produce two types of eggs, one with the sex chromosome, other devoid of the sex chromosome. So depending upon it, the males and the females will be formed. So after discussing male heterogamety, female heterogamety, we move on to the haploid diploid mechanism. Now, in this case, this phenomenon, this mechanism is seen in organisms like honeybee, wasps, ants. Now, these organisms, the total chromosome number is different in males and females. Males, they have only one set of genome. They have only haploid number of chromosomes. Females have a complete two sets of chromosomes, so they are called as diploid. Like if we take the example of honeybees, honeybee females, they will have 36 chromosomes. To n number is 36, and the males of honeybees, they will have haploid number of chromosomes, that is only 16 chromosomes they have. This is seen, as I already mentioned, bees and wasps. Now the production of males and females in this case is different. Females will be produced through fertilization. Males will be produced without fertilization, directly through parthenogenesis. Now parthenogenesis is the phenomenon in which organisms are capable of producing the new offspring directly from the eggs. They don't need sperms to produce the new offspring or the zygote. Directly it can be produced. Now the meiosis here, now meiosis does not occur during gametogenesis in males. Okay, in the male individuals there is no occurrence of meiosis. That is, they don't need to produce sperms. Quite obvious, as their number itself is haploid. Females will grow from fertilized eggs, so diploid, as I already mentioned. Now, how does the process take place? So here we are taking the example of queen bee. Now queen bee, only one is capable in a hive, only queen bee is capable of reproducing. So what happens? She picks up all the sperms during copulation. Okay, nuptial flight, nuptial copulation, what do we call? Okay, they will pick up all the sperms from some specific drones and store in her body. In her reproductive system, a structure called a seminal receptacle is present. She will store all the sperms in it. Then in the beehive, as you all are familiar, they made up of small compartments. Some compartments are small, some compartments are big. Now if she sits on a particular compartment which is quite small in size, then there is pressure upon the seminal receptacle of her body, due to which the sperms are emitted out. they come out from her receptacle, and the egg that she will produce, that egg will come in contact with the sperm and get fertilized. Fertilization will result, and that organism, that zygote will become a female because fertilization has taken place. And if the queen bee sits in a compartment which is comparatively bigger than the previous one, then there is no pressure upon a seminal receptacle. Consequently, what will happen? As there is no pressure upon a seminal receptacle, so the egg, when she is emitting or giving out the egg from her body, ova from her body, then it does not come in contact with the sperm. Sperms are not emitted because the seminal receptacle is not under any pressure such that it will emit or it will give out the sperms. Sperms are still intact inside the receptacle. It's not coming out as there is no application of any pressure upon it. So the egg which is released out will simply come out, and that will develop into a larva which will become the male because it is unfertilized. It is having only half the number of chromosomes. So here the same things. If the queen emits sperms over the eggs while laying, it leads to formation of female. While laying egg, if the seminal receptacle fails to emit sperm, it leads to formation of haploid males. Here we have, it's shown here. Now the female, that is the queen bee, she is with 32 chromosomes. In her body, gametogenesis takes place, that is meiosis, and it will develop into gametes. Each gamete will be carrying 16 chromosomes, half of 32. The males, they have 16 chromosomes always. They will never have 32 chromosomes. So in them there is no question of meiosis. Just mitosis takes place in the body, and the developed cells, which we call as gametes, they are with the same chromosome number as present in their somatic or body cells. Now, then after that, these sperms that are produced, they will be released into the body of the female, the queen bee. Okay, here queen bee picks all the sperms. So these are the sperms which queen bee will pick up. Now the queen bee, when she is laying out the eggs, if at that time some sperms are ejected due to pressure upon the seminal receptacle, due to pressure upon the seminal receptacle, if some sperms are released, then what will happen? One egg will unite or undergo syngamy with the sperm, forming a female. Fertilization. And if the female is laying out the egg without any pressure during the process, no pressure is applied upon the seminal receptacle, she simply gives out the egg without any fertilization happening there. So that gamete, the ova, will directly develop into an organism which we will call as the male. That will be the drone, which we call in honeybees. So here again the same things with a picture. So egg unfertilized, it will develop into haploid males, that is the drones, and if it is fertilized, it will develop into the females, which may become the queen or it may develop into the worker. Now again, this is it because we all know these are social insects. They have a specific pattern of their life. So here out of the females that will be produced, not all can develop the ability to reproduce. The ones which develop the ability to reproduce will be called queen, and the rest will simply remain as workers. So that is all from the topic